fundraisers. I'm Dawn Lego, and it's time once again to buckle up for a new episode of Raise Nation, the one and only podcast made to inspire fundraisers like you to continue making impact in our communities, building better tomorrows, and exchanging ideas. So whether you're a trailblazer or a seasoned pro, you'll pick up the trends that transform your fundraising. And together, we'll dive into lively conversations and chat with industry-leading fundraisers and thought leaders to explore hot button issues and innovative ideas. So stay with us for the next 30 minutes while we inspire you to embrace the future of fundraising. So let's get going. I am super pleased to welcome our guest today, not only a friend, a peer, but also a philanthropist. And without further ado, Kim Haugh, how are you? It's so great to be sharing this space with you right now. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
You know, for our audience, my pleasure. I couldn't wait to get you on the show. But for our audience, we have the pleasure of working together. And I also have the pleasure of watching you just build better tomorrows, because not only do you work at OneCause, but you live the why of OneCause. You know, when 9 to 5, you might be here at OneCause, but 5 to 9, you're doing some great things to build better tomorrows. And so many of us here really have that story. And so it was just so exciting for me to, get you onto the show. But before we dive into, what you're doing and strong heart and strong players, let's let our audience get to know Kim Haugh a little bit better. So could you just introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about Strong Heart, Strong Players?
Absolutely. Again, thank you for having me. So my name's Kim Haugh, and I live outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on a farm, little farm.
Go Steelers!
Yes, go Steelers! And I am married, have 4 kids. Love my life and love working for OneCause. I started with OneCause in 2017 as an event consultant, and then also as an event manager, and then became a consultant in 2019, I believe. And just love being here and love that I can help other organizations with their missions and raise their funds. And then lo and behold, in August of this year, of 2021, actually, I had the need to create my own foundation and do some fundraising for myself. And that's where Strong Heart, Strong Players came to be. So my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, was a soccer coach and baseball coach for my nephews, who were 9 and 10 at the time. It was beautiful August evening, and they were just running some drills with the kids, just having fun. And my brother-in-law went into sudden cardiac arrest. It took 20 minutes to revive him. And had there been an AED there, he might have ended up surviving.
What's an AED?
An AED is a defibrillator, like the paddles that you put on the chest to get the heart working again. And what happened with my brother-in-law was his heart started like racing. It was going at like over 200 beats per minute. And so it was moving so fast, it couldn't get blood flowing. And an AED or a defibrillator is what would put it back in the right rhythm. And because they were at this outdoor soccer field facility, there wasn't any available. And by the time the paramedics got there and, got to the field, got it on him and all that, it ended up being 20 minutes. And after a valiant fight in the hospital, he ended up passing away.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
my God.
Yeah.
Okay. I have so many questions.
Yes.
Let me dial back just a little bit, because we're peers here at OneCause. And you said that you're a consultant. consultant. What does a consultant do day to day at OneCause?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm on the marketing team. I don't know anything.
Right. So consultants, we have a set of clients and we have calls with them leading up to their events. And really our goal is to help them maximize their investment with OneCause and use our software to help them raise more funds at their events, whether they're, galas or virtual events now, or, whatever whatever fundraising effort they're planning, we help them implement the software and raise more funds.
Got it. Okay. So, we share a lot of similarities. And I'm so honored to call you a friend in my, 5 to 9 life.
Same.
I run a nonprofit as well. And I often wonder, how I got here, like when little did I know when I first interviewed for OneCause, 11 years ago, that my life was going to take me to managing my own 501c3, which is not my own. It's my daughter Alyssa's, and most people know Alyssa at this point. So I help Alyssa, but back in the day, I had no idea. And I don't know, how has that impacted you? Because it is a special culture here at OneCause, right? We live our why, right? And we volunteer. We're in the community. We're passionate about helping fearless fundraisers do more, be more. That's your role specifically here, which is so important, helping OneCause customers optimize their software. Does it make sense to you? I mean, I don't know if you believe in everything happens to a reason, but does it kind of make sense to you? Like, hey, I see where my destiny was going with these two worlds colliding. Has that ever impacted you?
Absolutely. So it's so funny you mentioned that too, because my brother and I were my sister's support system when she was going through all of this. And I actually started my career like out of college in sales for a large corporation where, and I always did struggle with that a little bit because I was like, well, really all I'm doing is lining people's pockets. I'm not really doing anything good for the world. And I ended up leaving the corporate world in that sense. And I was a stay-at-home mom for a while, and I volunteered at my kids' school. I was actually a gala chair myself. And, and so
no stranger to fundraising.
Right. Did lots of volunteering and lots of fundraising for my kids' Catholic school. And then my brother ended up shifting gears a little bit as well. And he ended up becoming a pastor. And so, we had this fundraiser and this pastor who are my sister's support system during this. And it was just really crazy because, those were, just exactly what she needed at that point to help her. So,
yeah. Wow. Yeah. Because I have a similar story, how the stars just were aligned. And when I look back, I'm like, it just made sense, right? My life makes sense now.
Exactly.
But okay, so let's go back to the tragic day. I didn't mean to make light of it, but you're all on the soccer field. Your nephews are how old?
They at the time they were 9 and 10. One's had a birthday since, so they're now 9 and 11. But yeah,
and this is happening in front of their eyes.
And in their eyes, and an entire whole team. It was a 12U team. And the way the facility is set up, there was actually 4 fields right there. And so everybody ended up seeing it. 4 teams ended up seeing it. So the whole community, So
I can't
it really
even imagine.
affected the whole community, to the point they brought in extra counselors to the school because it was just a few days before school started too.
Yeah.
So
good Lord.
yeah, it was crazy.
Now, this is your brother-in-law. I assume that he has young kids and he's a soccer coach. That he was in some form of stamina, good shape, taking care of himself. So this was just an out of the blue.
Yes.
And really the difference of a defibrillator arriving 20 minutes early would have made the difference.
Absolutely.
Oh, good Lord.
Right.
Okay. So that was a rough time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine.
Mm-hmm.
My sympathies to you,
Thank
your
you.
family, your sister-in-law, especially your nephews.
Mm-hmm.
So, but something, I guess there's a silver lining someplace in there. And that is the strong hearts, strong players. Where did that idea come in? When did that start?
Yeah. So we were, I'll never forget, we were, holding vigil in the waiting room at the hospital.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And of course, this was during COVID, and they were limiting the number of people that could be in the waiting room. So we just found ways to get around the system, because, when a young person like this, so many people just want to be there and support, and because he was only 44 years old. So,
young. Young.
Yeah. And so, we were just sitting there talking, and when we, you get pieces of information. You don't get it all, all at once, as to diagnosis and outlook and all of that. And when we got that news that, what it was, and we started researching, and we realized that a defibrillator would have made the difference, we were all mad. We're like, why isn't there one there? Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is crazy that this happened, and it didn't have to happen. And so we're like, well, let's raise money and get a defibrillator there. And at this
for
point,
the school or for what who would you be getting the defibrillator for?
Right. So really because these are for like outside facilities that aren't attached to a building.
Got
and
it.
So a lot of them have like a concession stand or a maintenance locker or something like that. So, wherever their first aid kit is and all of that, there should be a defibrillator there as well. And at this point, we had no idea how much they cost or anything like that. And we're like, let's
just get one.
Let's get one so this doesn't happen again. And, almost instantly we had the money for the one there.
All right. I have to ask, how much does a defibrillator cost?
Well, the whole setup and everything, because you want to get it like a cabinet to put it in and all. And through my charity, I was able to get the whole setup for like $1,500.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I thought you were going to
I know you thought I was going to say like 15,000, right? Though?
Yeah.
I know.
Right. Well, so now I'm even more mad, right?
I know,
like
exactly.
Now I'm even, because it's $1,500, right? Like I wasn't sure what you were going to say. I didn't know if we were in the tens of thousands.
Exactly.
First there's anger, but then there's layers of anger because for $1,500.
Right.
Now, how many? So what kind of field is this? Is this owned by the park system, by the county, by the school, who owns this?
By the park system.
Now, and I know, no disrespect to the park system.
Absolutely.
Like I'm not putting any shade on the park system.
Right.
I don't know, maybe this is education, but do you know how many athletic fields have or don't have defibrillators? Is it a law? Is it a requirement? Is it a recommendation? Like, I'm a little aghast right now.
Yeah, right. So, and there's differences between states. It's usually more a state law. And so for Pennsylvania, like the schools have to have them. So if your field is like at a school, the school likely has one, but it's also likely locked inside the nurse's office. So if you're playing a game in the evening or whatever, it's not available to you. And some fields might have like where an ambulance will be on site during the game. Like that's common in Pennsylvania here, at least in my area. Friday night football games, there's always an ambulance there. And so they would have one inside that ambulance. But again, this was just a Thursday night practice.
Yeah.
And so most of the like soccer fields and baseball fields and stuff like that, they're all like the organizations, the clubs, and they play on like county parks and places like that. And there are no laws to have them there.
Okay.
And so that is our goal is to get one. Well, we started at first just to get one at that soccer field. And like I said, we got the money almost instantly for that one. So we were like, well, let's get it at all the fields in Freeport. That's the city that they lived in. Well, we ended up working with the local paramedics and everything, because they were just devastated by this too. They know what happened. They responded. And so they were able to get donations there. And so all of his hometown will have them. And we were like, well, let's keep going. And
Wow.
right.
Wow,
So let's keep going and let's get them everywhere that, like within our conference. So all the fields that are played at, let's get defibrillators at each of those. So by using the OneCause software and fundraising, we've able to have secured 13 defibrillators.
Wow. So
yes.
you have, wow.
Yes.
Wait, did you say August of 2021?
Yes. Yes.
So we're only months in and you've placed 13 defibrillators.
Yes. Well, they're on order. They're not placed yet.
Okay. All right.
National supply chain issues.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
We have a little time because, there's nothing going on outside here in Pennsylvania right now.
Okay.
But yeah.
But then you had to raise money to acquire the OneCause software. So it's not just getting the defibrillators. How were you able to get the software?
Well, I actually was gifted the software through the company. I actually had met our CEO, Steve Johns, at an event many years ago. And I was like, we're fearless fundraisers.
Wait, Steve Johns you met in Pennsylvania?
In Michigan at an event.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Yes.
Because he lives in Indiana.
Right.
Okay.
I was event managing and he was there in an event because it was his good friend's event. And so I met him there and I was like, you know what? We are fearless fundraisers and fearless fundraisers go after what they need. So I emailed my CEO and I said, can I have the software, please? He said, absolutely, whatever you need. So
good for you.
Yes.
That's wonderful. But we do have a benefit program here, right?
Absolutely. Yes. And I actually didn't know that, or maybe I'd forgotten about it or, whatever. My mind was a little twirling right then.
Well, I'm sure. So each full-time employee at OneCause can gift or sponsor a nonprofit organization. For a 12-month subscription in our Kickstart Your Cause. So we really do live our why, right?
Yes,
in multiple ways.
Yes.
Okay. So now you have the software so what did you do to fundraise? So you're mourning, the death of your brother-in-law and you're immediately inspired to move into a mission to keep going and install as many defibrillators as you can into many fields as you can. So very quickly you do 13, but fortunately for you, you have some fundraising experience between the gala chair and, working at OneCause. But what did you do specifically? Like, what was the campaign?
Yep. So what we did was honestly, initially, I just created a giving center and I sent it out and I just asked for money. I just simply asked for money. And there was just such an overwhelming response. There was a couple people who just donated outright the amount needed to get one. And so, it was just asking. And then
but the software made it easy, I guess, right? Because if you're asking and you're just talking to somebody and there's not a mechanism, right? But that made it easier, right? Right. So listen, this is the story. This is what's going on. This is why I need your help. And here's the portal to make it easy. Is that
exactly? And then my sister's town just supported her amazingly. They just turned out in groves to support her, and they ended up doing a fall festival for her to help raise money for like the funeral and that kind of stuff. And so it was,
I didn't even think of that.
Right. Yeah. So it was also covered in the paper, and the local newspaper. So we got, so I was set up there as well. And so people donated, to her, but also to the cause. And then, like I said, it was also in the newspaper. So people were just, again, because the software is so easy, just hitting the website and making donations that way.
Wow. So you're not really even a year into this mission.
No.
And you're already demonstrating amazing impact. So congratulations and thank you for what you're doing. Hopefully the defibrillators will never need to be used, but if they're in a situation, hopefully they're saving lives. So thank you for everything that you're doing. But what's the plan? What's the future? Where do you, what's your dream with the mission?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So my dream, well, first and foremost, I did it for my sister and for my nephews, that they would realize that there was some good that came out of their dad and husband's passing, and that my brother-in-law, he coached everything. He gave back so much to his community. So I just wanted them to know that he was going to continue to give back in some way. And that, like you said, hopefully they're never used, but if they are, because he gave his life, someone else is going to be saved. So, so that was, my why. And I always keep that in my the back of my mind every day when I feel tired and I don't want to do anything more. And I think, okay, I've done enough. I'm going to take a break, but no, I got to keep going. Right. And so, my goal is to get them everywhere in our conference. And
so how many would that mean if it was everywhere?
Honestly, I'm not even sure. Probably about 40 is my guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, and then, potentially move outside of our conference and into the next one. And, just to keep going and just to keep getting them everywhere. And also just to get the message spread that if you're listening from Alaska or California or anywhere, talk to the president of your organization and ask, is there a defibrillator in our concession stand or in our maintenance closet? Can we get access to it, not only at games, but also at practices? And if not, contact me. I can help get you one and help you create a fundraiser specific for yours, because I have this amazing software that allows me to do that.
Wait, am I hearing this right, Kim? You're actually saying that if there's somebody tuning in from Florida right now and their daughter or son is playing soccer and they're hearing this and they're at the soccer field and they decide to mosey on over and find out if there's a defibrillator, they find out that there's not, that you're welcoming them to call you and say, hey, you know what? You are.
I am. Yes, we are.
I just got chills, Kim.
We are passionate about this cause. Yes. So
how does someone how do we get in touch? And you became a 501c3, is that right?
That is correct. Yes. So, yep, absolutely.
So how do you get in touch with Strong Heart, Strong Players?
Honestly, the easiest way is just to email me directly. And it's KHAUGH@onecause.com. So, yeah.
All right. So where'd the name come from? I mean, I think I get it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Who came up with the name?
My sister-in-law and I were, again, sitting in that ICU waiting room, and we decided we were going to do this.
Wait, this all happened in the waiting room that day?
Yes. Well, it was somewhere. He was in the hospital for like 12 days. So somewhere in those 12 days, we came up with this idea and we named it, and I got the ball rolling.
You're a go-getter. I mean, wow. And we always talk about our customers as fearless fundraisers, but I think you're the poster child for a fearless fundraiser.
I don't don't know.
Amazing.
I don't know.
How are your nephews? Are they involved in any way? Do they understand, or
they
is
do.
this helping in any way?
They do. It was actually really cute because I gave my entire family a Strong Heart, Strong Players, like the logo on a shirt for Christmas. And
Oh my God, just like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. As well as other gifts, but that was one of their gifts. And my nephews, the littler one, he's having a little bit of a tougher time with everything, and he just looked at me and he just did a head tilt and got a smile, and he immediately put it on. So they get it. They get it.
Can we give them a shout out? What are their names?
Absolutely. Bo Wells and Brody Wells. They live in Sarver, Pennsylvania.
Do you get to see them often?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Good. You sound like you have a tight knit family.
We are.
Yeah. And is everybody involved? Is everybody involved in the nonprofit?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We're still trying to find our way because we are relatively new, and and February's Heart Health Month. And so we're really, kicking around some ideas to try to propel it. And it's such a great time too, because in Pennsylvania, like March, April is when the fields start opening up again, and, kids will be on them. So we want to have as many defibrillators at those fields as we can when things, start rolling again.
So what's the process? Like, so you said that their order supply chain is messing things up a little bit.
Yeah.
A supply chain's messing. I had to pay $14.99 for milk the other day because I couldn't find milk.
Oh my gosh.
So I finally DoorDashed it. I'm so embarrassed to say. I love you, DoorDash. DoorDash is listening. I'm a big DoorDash fan, but it was the only way I can find milk, and with all the fees involved. But so I get the supply chains messing things up. But so are any installed yet, or any
one so far?
Okay.
Yes.
But again, the impact is amazing that you have 13 covered and just, waiting. So one is installed at the fields, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
So what's the process? So you order them. Is your vendor working with you, or
they are? Yes. Yeah. I was actually, Zoll is our vendor, and great shout out to Zoll, because they have a great program for nonprofits. And they, give deep discounting for nonprofits, and for this, they were wonderful backing this cause and everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you order them, you deal with the supply chain, you get them, what happens from there once they arrive?
Yeah, absolutely. So, not only is it having it there, the point is also so that the coaches and everybody know how to use it.
Yeah.
So I have been working with the local fire departments, and they are going to provide training at like the coaches meetings. So again, in Pennsylvania, when the teams get, like, we have signups, and then once they see everybody who's signed up, all the coaches get together and they pick their teams. So at that coaches meeting, we're going to do a training session in conjunction with the local fire department on how to use the defibrillator as well. So
do you know how to use a defibrillator?
I do.
Kim, you don't. You do?
I do. I did take
next company meeting. I'm sitting next to you. God forbid something happens. I know I'll be safe.
I have taken CPR training twice, and this is Ed. So if you are CPR trained, a lot of them are include defibrillators, but they don't always. But so I do know how to use it. But there's also varying. There's different kinds of defibrillators as well. And I got ones that are called fully automated. So basically all you have to do is open up the case, and the machine starts talking to you and telling you what to do.
Really?
Yeah, because of course you're panicked, right? You don't know what to do. You don't want to hurt the person. You don't want to cause and make things worse. So the machine starts talking to you. First thing, call 911. And then you put the pads on, and it detects the heart rate, and it detects if the person actually needs to be shocked. And then it'll tell you, press this button or not to press the button, or, whatever. So, I always tell people, you're going to do more harm by not putting it on the person than by putting it on, because the machine's going to tell you what to do. So just get it out. The most that you're going to do is waste the pads that you put on the person's chest. No big deal. They're like $13,
Right.
So
why do you think it is? We're also, do my kids have the coolest sneakers, and are the uniforms clean, and, water bottles, don't forget and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with any of that, right? Yep. I have my water bottle right here all the time, right? Stay hydrated. But why do you think it's just, you're telling me how easy to use. You have a defibrillator that talks to you, right?
Yep.
It's not horribly expensive. No. if there's, any type of, registration or club fee, we'll just tack on $5 or, per family, right? Who wouldn't want that? Because you never know when it's going to be your loved one.
Yep.
Why do you think it is, Kim? Why is it such a gross oversight that athletic fields, of all places, where you see, sports induced asthma, and you see injury, right? There's probably first aid kits. There's probably, ankle wraps. There's probably, why do you think this is?
Honestly, I think it's fear of the unknown. I think
really,
I do. I think it was, people, thought they were cost prohibitive. I think people thought that, well, I don't know how to use it anyway. I'd be scared to use it. And so I personally think that's why. And I think people don't realize, they think, well, we'll just call an ambulance, which is, yeah, great. But it takes 3 to 7 minutes for an ambulance to arrive to, any accident site. And that's assuming you've given them the right address and the right location and everything. And after a brain has stopped receiving oxygen, within 5 minutes, it's becoming, it's killing parts of the brain. So, you can do the math. It doesn't take long for someone to, because of a cardiac incident, to have, brain death, basically.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord. What I think there's so much that I love about, what you're doing. The fact that you just took charge and your trail, and you're doing amazing. We're talking, you're months in, and you've already demonstrated, 13 successes as soon as the supply chain, cooperates with you. Right. But you're also creating awareness. Anybody listening out there, especially that has children, and, bring, podcasts today are listened, Saturday morning over coffee, while you're working out. So maybe somebody right now is driving, to the soccer field and to the football field. How many people are we impacting right now to actually, I would have never thought about it. My daughter played soccer for half a season. Anybody who knows Alyssa knows soccer wasn't really her thing, but, I would have never thought of that, So I love the fact that you're educating, people and you're creating awareness, which seems like part of the mission for
absolutely
the foundation.
Yes.
So good for you.
Thank you.
So that's just amazing. I'm so proud of you too.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, this is really exciting. I'm so sorry though that it came out of, something that wasn't, that was, very traumatic. And I do wish, all the best.
Thank you.
So any big shout outs, anyone that has been extremely either generous or helpful or supportive that, I think we've actually been chatting for 30 minutes. Can you believe it?
Wow.
But it goes by so fast.
Does,
but I want to give you the opportunity. Any shout outs for anyone that you think deserves a little recognition?
Yeah. I definitely want to give a shout out to Christopher Salon. They donated.
Hi, Christopher.
They were they were the first ones to do a direct donation of one. So yes, thank you to them. And now, like I said, that we have the 501c3 2023. We actually just received it like right at the end of 2021, right in December. So we are looking to partner with some of our local health systems and everything. So I think there's going to be a lot of good coming here in 2022.
Yeah, well, you're moving so quickly. I just can't imagine if this is what you've done during mourning in just a couple of months.
Yeah.
We're going to have you back on the show. And
Absolutely.
you're going to have to give us an update.
I would love to.
So special. Well, Fearless Fundraisers, that's about all we have time for today. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's Raise Nation topic and your daily dose of fundraising inspiration. If Kim wasn't inspiring, I don't know what would be. Tune in for the next episode, release every Thursday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Thursdays, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. But in the meantime, be sure to listen to all the episodes on Raise Nation Radio. Follow the channel that you like best so that you can get the notifications about all our new guests, and visit OneCause.com for our brand new web pages that feature all of our episodes. Fundraisers are doing amazing things, as we just heard, and they're building better tomorrows for our communities. The stories are awe-inspiring. You won't want to miss a single episode. I would like to thank our sponsor, OneCause, for making this episode possible. OneCause is driving the future of fundraising with easy-to-use software solutions that help nonprofits connect with their donors. Be sure to check them out at onecause.com and visit the resource tab on their homepage for a broad catalog of ebooks, webinars, and blogs that hopefully you'll find very helpful. A huge shout out and thanks to my guest, Kim Haugh, for sharing her expert and authentic voice. Kim, thank you so much for being with us today. I enjoyed our conversation. Any last words of inspiration?
Oh, thank you very much for having me. And everyone, please, if you're listening to this, check at your fields and see if there's an AED. And if there's not, contact me and we'll get something going.
Well, there's always a fundraiser. I would have predicted that was going to be your last inspiring words. Well, thank you again so much. For all of our audience, that's all we have time for. So that's a wrap. Until next time, I'm Dawn Lego, and this is Raise Nation Radio. Stay fearless out there.